California, once the golden dream, the land of opportunity, sun-drenched suburbs, and tech riches. But as of 2025, that dream is faltering in more places than you might think. Housing markets that once sizzled are now cooling rapidly, and in some cities, prices are collapsing. Inventory is piling up, buyers are vanishing, and sellers are slashing prices month after month. In today's video, we're counting down 10 California cities where home prices are collapsing fast and where people are leaving in droves. These aren't tiny towns. These are places with meaning, history, and millions of dollars of real estate value, now melting under market pressure. Stick around, because by the end, you'll understand not just which cities are in free fall, but why, and what that could mean for the rest of California. San Francisco. Let's start with the big one, San Francisco. Once a symbol of tech wealth and soaring home values, the city is now bearing the brunt of massive layoffs, remote work pullbacks, and affordability pushed to the brink. According to Redfin data, San Francisco's home prices have dropped by around 10.4%. Inventory is swelling and transactions are slowing. Long-time residents, including high earners, are exiting, leaving behind a housing market that feels quieter, more uncertain, and eerily vulnerable. Sacramento. Next, Sacramento, the state capital. Once considered relatively affordable compared to the Bay Area, it's now seeing declines around 6% per Redfin data. Why? Oversupply is building and demand is weakening. As more homes hit the market, sellers are forced to cut, and people who moved in during the COVID-era migration are reconsidering their options. San Jose. Then there's San Jose, heart of Silicon Valley. Even here, home prices are slipping, reportedly by 5.6% over the past year. The city's once insatiable tech-driven demand is softening. High mortgage rates combined with a pullback in venture capital has cooled interest in buying. The pain is real, and even in the valley, the home boom feels like it's losing steam. LA. Los Angeles, a global icon, is also on the list. Prices are reportedly down 5.4% according to Money Magazine's reporting. But this isn't about one neighborhood. This is a broad shift. From middle-class suburbs to pricey enclaves, sellers are competing for fewer buyers. Some folks are packing up, making a tough call. Stay in LA with high taxes and shrinking equity, or move on to greener pastures. Across the Bay, Oakland is feeling the squeeze. Business Insider recently named it among the top 5 U.S. cities seeing steep year-over-year declines in median home sale prices, nearly 6.8% according to some reports. That's not just fading demand, that's a value correction. Long called a counterculture alternative to San Francisco, Oakland might now be paying the price for an overextended market. Heading inland, Stockton is perhaps the most alarming case. According to Reventure News, 25.4% of its listings have had price cuts, more than any other California city on their list. Reventure News. That tells you something big is happening. Either sellers are overestimating or demand is collapsing. Either way, homes are staying on the market and people are rethinking whether Stockton is still a smart bet. Riverside. Now Riverside, part of the Inland Empire, it's not immune. Roughly 23.9% of homes there have had list price reductions. Riverside's story is complex. On one hand, it's still more affordable than the coast. On the other, a surge in inventory is diluting demand, and affordability pressures remain. More sellers are dealing with tough decisions: stay and wait, or cut deep and move on. Fresno. Fresno in the Central Valley is also on the list. About 20.3% of its homes have seen price cuts. Fresno was once a hotspot for investors seeking value, but now as supply builds and buyers slow down, investor optimism is cooling, and that could leave some properties stuck in a holding pattern. Oxnard. On the coast, but more affordable than LA, isn't immune either. Like Fresno, it's reported price cuts of 20.3% in listings. That's huge. It suggests that even once stable coastal markets may be bending under pressure. When buyers retreat, even attractive locations can lose their shine. Finally, Visalia, another Central Valley city where 19.7% of homes are dropping in price. Visalia might seem off the beaten path, but it's not immune to statewide trends. With fewer buyers chasing more listings, its housing market may be entering a prolonged slump, and that has knock-on effects for the broader region. So what's driving this collapse? Well, there are a few powerful, interconnected forces at play. Rising inventory. Across many of these markets, homes are piling up. More supply, fewer buyers. High mortgage rates. With rates stuck higher than in recent years, many buyers are either priced out or arriving cautiously. Affordability crunch. Even in places that were affordable before, the cost of living, taxes, and rising debt are biting. Out-migration. Some Californians are leaving for cheaper states, different lifestyles, or to escape the volatility. Economic uncertainty. Tech layoffs, slower wage growth, and macroeconomic fear are making big investment bets less confident, especially in overheated markets like San Francisco. Impacts and consequences. What does this all mean? First, for sellers, it's becoming riskier. Homes that sold quickly in 2020, 2022 are now lurching on the market with steep discounts required to close deals. For buyers, particularly those with strong cash flow or patience, opportunities may be emerging, but it's not without danger. On a broader level, cities seeing these collapses could face long-term demographic shifts, fewer newcomers, slower economic growth, and possible declines in tax revenue. Municipal services, schools, and infrastructure could all feel the squeeze if the exodus continues. So what should you keep an eye on going forward? Inventory trajectories. Are active listings continuing to climb or starting to flatten? Price cut trends. Are price reductions stabilizing or accelerating? Sales volume. Prices falling don't always mean fewer sales, but if volume collapses, that's a red flag. Population data. Migration patterns will show whether people are really leaving or just pausing. Policy shifts. Tax policy, housing regulations, and zoning changes could dramatically impact how these markets evolve. California's dream may still be alive, but in many of these 10 cities, it's bruised, fragile, and transforming fast. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, or an investor watching from the sidelines, this is one of the real estate stories that could define the next decade. If you found this breakdown eye-opening, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because we'll be tracking this crash as it unfolds. Drop a comment below. Which city surprised you the most? And which one do you think recovers first? Thanks for watching, and stay sharp out there in the Golden State.